All right, guys, we've been walking around out here at Southern Expo East. One of the coolest Tacomas here is in the Derrick booth. Derrick from Southern Xpeditions. I built this truck, and you've been working on it for quite a few years.
Yeah, for sure. We've had it since 2013, so we got it when it was just about a year old and had 12,000 miles on it, so had a lot of fun with it over the years.
Yeah, guys, and since then there's all sorts of goodies packed into this truck you cannot see from the outside. I've always wanted to do a walk around of this thing, and yeah, man, let's go into detail about what you got going on here.
Cool. Yes, I mean, so it's a 2012 Tacoma with a TRD supercharged V6 in it. We've done some other upgrades here and there, but we just did this JD Fab plus 2 1/4 long travel, and then we've done some other stuff to the truck. It's got a couple of modifications.
Yeah, and we did I'm a JD Fab at the shop. I'm with the guys from JD Fabrication themselves, so that was cool.
So JD Fab plus 2 1/4 long travel kit. So they've got a couple different variations of it. As far as lists of upgrades you can do to the kit. So we hit the nuclear button. We always said if I was gonna do long travel, it had to make sense. It had to get the down travel and the up travel and have the beefy upgrades, because I don't want to go to just wider and just have these weird extensions on tie rod ends and just have a ticking time bomb that's not, superior to a mid travel setup. So the JD Fab, they did the plus 2 1/4. We did the slide rack install, which provides a dual shear point on the inside of the steering rack, and then a dual shear on the outside with a stainless billet rod end. Fox 2.5 coilovers. Shane and the guys over at Fox Factory out there in Cali, they hooked it up and tuned up a great set of shocks for this thing. Fox 2.0 bump stops, limit straps, 934 inner CV axle, so we've got 28 degrees of dropout on the inner there. 300M long travel shafts. Long brake lines from YM brake lines. We did the lower pivot kit, which braced and allowed us to move the lower control arm forward in the assembly an inch to make it to where we can stuff a 35 or a 37 if we want to, full stuff, full range of travel, and not have to tub the firewall. So no cut, no hacking on the firewall. I'm trying to quit doing all that stuff. So super awesome JD Fab kit. It's fantastic. We've done an ATR trip, done a couple of jumps. It parties like an 18-year-old on spring break. It is freaking awesome. And those 2.0 bump stops with that tuning that Fox put in those coilovers it's unreal. It tows great. It does rocks great. It jumps good. It is really, truly, it's a pleasure to drive.
Nice, man. Yeah, dude. And you've got a lot done from the front all the way to the back. Keep walking us around this thing, and show us what you did to make it yours.
Yeah, man. So we've done a couple of things. So we put a TRD supercharger on it with a URD 2.8-inch pulley. We've upgraded the fuel pump and done some performance modifications to kind of make the thing a little more safe and more reliable. Big radiator from CSF, big trainee cooler. Certain things like that. We've, ARB twin compressor. We've got off-grid engineering dual battery electronic system. We've got a power tray over there at Switch Pro 9100 that controls all the lighting. So electrical safe, the truck is reliable, makes good power, it's fun to drive.
Yeah, and this thing whines super loud, because I've driven it and ridden in it. And so you have a smaller pulley.
Yep, 2.8-inch URD super grip pulley. So it's about 7.5, 8 pounds of boost. I've got Justin over at Just DSM did a custom HP tune for the truck, mapped it, changed the shift points, set it up for the gears. The truck is so fun to drive. You've driven it.
Yep.
Several folks have driven it.
It's a blast.
Yeah, it makes good horsepower. I hope to put it on the dyno sometime soon before it gets too many miles on it to see what kind of, it's a mid-size V6, right? So it's not going to be a lot of power, but I like to know what it puts out. It'll bark tires in third gear. So, fun truck to drive. And then, moving from here back, did a cage inside the truck, it's not a race cage. It was a safety adder. I wheel with my kid. I've got a small child, and I want him to be safe in the back seat, should something catastrophic happen. So we put a 4X Innovations cage in there, kind of did some custom mounts, this, that, and the other. So that was really cool. And then,
you've got the in-house fab snorkel.
In-house fab, 4-inch stainless snorkel. This is really cool because I swear this thing makes the supercharger whine so loud in the cab because this thing already faces to the rear, so you don't have to worry about turning your snorkel head around like you see the guys do on the internet. Every time they get in the dust, they turn their snorkel head around. So this intake faces back, and you can hear that supercharger with the windows down. It makes it obnoxious to drive,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's go to the back now and see what's going on back there.
Yeah. This is my favorite part of the truck. Well, it's my favorite part of the truck because, I mean, you're in two-wheel drive more than you are four-wheel drive,
Exactly.
So blown up a couple of ring gears, put the supercharger in it, put gears in it. I blew a couple of ring and pinions of that Toyota 8-inch, and I finally got tired of it. I was like, you know what? Like, what's the solution? Like, what's the nuclear button? And there's a couple aftermarket solutions out there, but we went with the Curry Rock Jock 60, so we got a high pinion Dana 60, so we got 1 ton, 35 spline chromoly axles, ARB air locker, 488 gears, and this thing, again, it parties like an 18-year-old on spring break. Like, it is freaking awesome. We did rough stuff, U-bolt eliminators, archive garage, shock relocate kit. So this thing is slick underneath, tons of travel. I've only got 12-inch shocks in the back. I gotta go to 14s because I'm missing like 2 1/4 inches of droop that I need to get out of this thing. But
Right. Well, yeah. You have to lower the mount and go to 14, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Need a little longer shock shaft. So anyway, freaking, hydro bumps out back, archive garage, shock relocate kit, Alcan springs.
Only way to go with the hammer hangers.
The hammer hangers, man, game changer. I mean, there's certain upgrades on the Tacoma that I feel like are must-haves.
If you don't have hammer hangers, you should.
Hit Eric up.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. And then we moved to the Black Rhino beadlocks. And that's been sick having, real off-road wheeling protection, being able to wheel at 7-8 PSI on the rocks and let these BFGs eat, let the supercharger make a little noise, have a little fun, do a little wheeling, so.
For sure, and then you've got a full drawer system back here as well, right?
Yep, so Sloop Imports brings in from Australia this Camp King Industries aluminum topper, which is cool, so you got access on all 3 sides, and it's aluminum all the way around, so it's secure, clean, dry storage.
All right, dude, all this stuff is super rad, man. You can clearly tell that it's well used and has served you well. This butcher block is super rad, and yeah, man. Any other tricks back here?
Dude, this thing is awesome, man. Baseball bat quality hickory. Friend of mine at butcherblock.co made this thing for me. It is so cool. 2.5 inches thick. It's
super thick, yeah.
That's
awesome.
It weighs like 60 pounds. It's ridiculous. I had to put 250-pound drawer slides on it just to hold it and take care of it. But it's a cool little prep space, and it's nice and useful here in the back of the truck. So
heck yeah.
It makes this thing.
And then you've got like the LFD attic.
Yeah. So like I said, this is the Camp King, and it's got these extrusion rails inside of it. So we got LFD off-road, so they made the rear bumper, which is super sick. They made these dual swing rear bumpers, and I needed a space to store above in there to make use of the attic space. So they made a molly panel cut, pre-bent little attic up in the topper, which is just rad. It's just nice to have good, clean, out-of-the-way storage.
No, dude, it's super simple back here. I love it. And, I know you've got some other cool stuff on the inside, so, let's show them that, man.
Yeah, like I said, we put a cage in the truck earlier this year. We put a cage in the truck, like I said. I mean, I wheel with my kid, my wife, and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that safety was paramount. I mean, I'm not taking this thing racing. It's not a race truck. So for the internet people that say, oh, it's not an NHRA race, roll cage, it's not. Something to keep my kids and family safer. So did a 4X Innovations roll cage. We did cat skin seats. I went a little bougie, so I do this satin thundercloud color on the roof and on the grill of the truck, and Catskin matched it with this blue color. So we did the gray Toyota with the blue satin thundercloud with the gray stitching, and then they added some foam and custom made the seats, and they're heated, and there's no more driver fatigue. Shieldman seats or something like that would be really cool, maybe at some point someday, but for now, these are fantastic. The guy took and laid them out for me to where it's comfortable. And like I said, there's no road fatigue. So
right, awesome.
We put
you have a couple sticks coming up through the console there. That's not factory.
No, I actually took and swapped the dash out with a pre-runner dash. Got rid of the electronic four-wheel drive engagement and went to an FJ transfer case, and it did the front range twin stick mod, and then brought the twin sticks up in the center console. So I've got 2 low. which is
Nice,
awesome.
which is always fun.
Too low is a blast. I mean, I
Doing
think
some sharp U-turns and dude, like low range and anything going slow is just like it's perfect.
Exactly, and
Yeah,
I do all sorts of stuff.
People who ride around in 4 high,
they're messing up.
they're messing up.
Yes, use your gears. You got them. They're turning. You might as well use that gear set.
100%.
Yeah, man. So no, it's a cool truck. Like I said, we got the AFR gauge here, boost gauge there. We got a scan gauge sitting up here up on top that's mounted next to the cage. Apple CarPlay in the truck. It makes it a fun, cool, just makes it a good driving experience. And we've built some other things around it, so we had to make the interior nice.
No, dude, this thing is super rad. Definitely one of my favorite second gen Tacomas here. So, well, dude, man, I appreciate walking around this thing, and maybe our next video will be I'm doing some Cindy's in it. So
yeah,
man,
into it. Let's make some noises.
Let's go.